This portion of News Channel 6 Saturday Morning is brought to you by Champion Windows and Patio Rooms.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning. It is just turned 9:13 in case you're keeping track at home. Our gadgets and gizmos guru, that's right, Bud Myers, is taking his turn at drama this morning.
Sounds kind of scary.
It's frightening.
He's checking out the technology that the Barksdale Theater uses to breathe life into their plays.
Now, earlier he gave us a look from the perspective of the stage.
Well, this time he's showing us what we don't see.
We're backstage at the Barksdale Theater and actually at Inherit the Wind, the latest production of the Barksdale Theater, which is in partnership with the Science Museum of Virginia. It's an incredible production. There's some 60 actors on stage, but to be honest with you today, I'm sort of looking at the production staff. There are 8 individuals here and over 30, right, involved in the whole thing, Rich?
Approximately, in terms of production and administrative.
This is Rich Mason, who is the production director of the Barksdale Theater. Rich, you were just showing us all the lighting and the number of lights that you have and how you do it. This really controls it, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's like a, what would be comparable to a PC or computer on anyone's desk. We program it to operate and the levels of the intensities of the instruments out on stage.
Each of the lights. And this is called the Strand Lighting Board, I guess.
Yes. And
I noticed that you actually have a floppy disk that you can program your lighting cues on.
Right. The unique thing about this particular board is it is the programming that it utilizes is we can do offline editing. I can put this program on my computer in my office, do all my queuing, come back in with a floppy, put it in, and it's queued.
So as you queue up, the computer then gives you a readout here.
Exactly.
Now this is, what we're seeing here is the number of, it's consistent with the lighting that's on the stage, right?
Exactly. The white numbers are my channels of control, which are very similar to that of a light switch in someone's home. So each number on the top corresponds to what we would call a light switch, and the bottom is the intensity of that.
Okay, so it's 85, it's like 85% of the light.
Exactly.
Okay. So when you go in here, is this this is a total creative process? I mean, this takes weeks for you to evolve.
Yes, most of the planning is done outside of the theater, and then once we get into the theater, it may take a week to a week and a half, depending on scheduling, to sit down and program the board and do all of the necessary things.
Now, I watched the production last night from the direction booth here in the lighting booth. Dan Stackhouse, the stage director, he was over here, and Linwood Guyton was operating this. Now, Linwood goes back to the days of the tavern. He told me he used to stand in puddles of water and pull plugs. That's right?
That was the unique thing about that space. It was a very small space. Literally 2 people could be in that booth, and it was what we call a manual preset board. And he literally had to move the channels individually, and when it rained outside, we had, a few leaks.
Well, we're walking directly now into the sound and orchestra booth, and this is where the orchestra and live performances actually stay, right? And you
in certain cases, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, in this case, Dan, who would be the stage manager, be wearing one of his headsets.
Yes.
He'd be talking over to this next room for the sound.
Exactly.
Now, it's about 30 to 40 audio cues here also.
Yes, for this particular show. There are, and those are written out on a cue sheet. We've got actually 31 cues on the first page, and which are at certain points during the show.
Okay, now he's controlling basically this 16-track mixer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And that level is not done automatically. That's a manual.
Exactly. We during the process, what we call a tech week, we sit down and set levels in the space and over top of actors as well in terms of their vocals on stage.
Okay.
So we work with them during that process, and it takes just setting cues may take 3 to 4 days.
Now that's just the actual maintenance of the cue, but Rich,
Exactly.
I was really overwhelmed by what you do to produce the actual cue itself, like the creation sequence that you guys do.
Exactly. The sound designer, Seth Gutterman, who is working with us on this particular production, spends a great deal of time researching the project. He'll pick music, he will create sound effects. One that I have is the first creation, Storm, that we hear that knocks the show off.
Yeah, I also noticed, and I'm real proud to say, you guys use mini disc.
We've gone digital, you could say. One of the things that we used to work off of cassettes, and which is here at the top. But now we've picked up 2 mini disc recorders and players and utilize that, and the sound quality is much better. It's incredibly easy to edit on this.
Well, there you have it. It is Inherit the Wind, and yeah, there's 60 actors out there, but guess what? There's 30 people that can't take the curtain call. So next time you're there and you think, hey, I'm listening to a tape machine, it's far beyond that. Barksdale Theater, 45 years, and it's still evolving. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Bud. A lot going on we can't see behind the scenes. If you'd like to go